Understanding rights in real estate is the cornerstone of property law and real estate practice. Everything in real estate, contracts, ownership, transfers, and land use, stems from the concept of what it means to own property and what rights are included in that ownership. Real estate is not just the physical land, it is the combination of land, everything permanently attached to it, both natural and man-made, and the legal rights associated with its ownership. At the most basic level, land includes the surface of the earth, everything beneath it to the planet's core, and everything above it extending into the air. This includes minerals, oil, gas, groundwater, vegetation, and the airspace above. Land is unique because of its three physical characteristics. It is immobile, indestructible, and non-homogeneous. It cannot be moved, cannot be destroyed, and no two parcels are identical. These qualities make land valuable and distinct, forming the basis for property rights and valuation. As human civilization evolved, land transitioned from a means of survival to a symbol of power, wealth, and security. The historical shift from the feudal system to the allodial system forever changed property ownership. Under the feudal system, all land belonged to the king, and individuals merely occupied it by permission. The signing of the Magna Carta in 1215 began the process of transferring certain ownership rights to individuals, ultimately leading to the allodial system, the foundation of property ownership in the United States. This system allows individuals to own land outright, though still subject to lawful regulation and taxation. Real property goes beyond physical land. It includes improvements such as buildings, fences, wells, roads, and landscaping, as well as the bundle of legal rights that define ownership. This bundle includes the rights of possession, control, enjoyment, exclusion, and disposition. Possession grants the owner the legal ability to occupy the property. Control allows the owner to determine how the property is used within legal limits. Enjoyment ensures the owner may use the property for lawful pleasure and benefit. Exclusion gives the owner the right to deny others entry or use of the property. Disposition allows the owner to sell, lease, or transfer ownership to others. While these rights define ownership, they can also be divided, restricted, or transferred. For instance, an owner might sell subsurface mineral rights but retain surface rights. A landlord may lease property but still hold ownership, while an easement might grant access to another person without transferring title. Ownership is therefore flexible and multifaceted, shaped by contracts, laws, and agreements. Ownership is not absolute because the government retains 4 key powers, often remembered by the acronym PETE. Police power, the authority to regulate land use for public welfare through zoning, health, and safety codes. Eminent domain, the power to take private land for public use with just compensation. Taxation, the right to levy property taxes to fund community services. Escheat, the transfer of property to the state when an owner dies without heirs or a will. These powers ensure that private ownership serves the public interest and that land is developed and maintained responsibly. Real property differs from personal property, which includes movable objects such as vehicles, furniture, and equipment. Determining whether an item is real or personal is essential in every transaction. A fixture is personal property that becomes real property once attached to land, like built-in appliances, plumbing, or a ceiling fan. Courts use 3 tests: annexation, adaptation, and intention to determine if an item is a fixture. For example, a built-in oven is considered part of the property, while a freestanding refrigerator is not. Trade fixtures are a special category of personal property used in business, such as salon chairs or restaurant ovens. Even though they may be attached, they remain the tenant's property and must be removed before the lease ends. If not removed, ownership transfers to the landlord through accession. Implements or cultivated crops are also personal property, even though they grow on the land because they result from human labor and investment rather than natural growth. Another major element of ownership involves water rights, which define who may use and control water found on, under, or next to land. These rights depend on whether the water is moving or still, navigable or non-navigable, and controlled by the state or privately owned. Riparian rights apply to land bordering moving water, such as rivers or streams. Ownership typically extends to the midpoint of a non-navigable river, while navigable rivers remain public. Littoral rights apply to land bordering still water, such as lakes or oceans, with ownership extending to the high water mark. The doctrine of prior appropriation, adopted in Arizona and many Western states, grants water rights to those who first apply the water to beneficial use, regardless of land adjacency. This system ensures fair distribution in arid climates. Finally, real property ownership is heavily regulated. Federal laws set broad standards, such as anti-discrimination and environmental protection. State governments regulate property transfer, licensing, and water use. Local governments handle zoning, building permits, and property taxes. Courts interpret disputes through common law and case precedent. In essence, real estate ownership represents both privilege and responsibility. It provides the right to use, enjoy, and transfer property while requiring compliance with laws that protect public interests. For real estate professionals, mastering these principles is crucial for advising clients, writing contracts, and resolving disputes. Every transaction, whether residential, commercial, or agricultural, begins with understanding what is owned, who owns it, and what rights come with it.